eventually you get absorbed in and you are Sonic.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to No Repeat. It's a podcast where we pick 3 songs every week with no repeats and no do-overs to create a perfect playlist for every occasion life throws at you. I'm Taylor Olmstead, and I'm joined by my co-host, Tyler Reed.
You know, when you get off a plane at 5 a.m., you become a different person. You've fundamentally changed as a human. And I don't think you really could ever come back from that.
And Sean Evans.
Catherine?
Well, our challenge this week wasn't about red-eye flights, but Tyler, we appreciate your sacrifice recording the podcast despite your lack of sleep. What was our challenge this week?
This week, challenge to find the perfect song for sneaking the last bite while nobody is looking, submitted by 71DPI. And if you want to submit your own challenge, you can DM us at us, NoRepeatPod, on Instagram and Twitter, or you can always send us an email, norepeatpod@gmail.com. Thanks so much.
I feel like we're going to have a lot of discussions about strategery during this preamble.
It's one of those episodes where there's no prep work I could do that would prepare me for what we're going to discuss, so
So, we can talk about, like, the environments in which this happens, because I was fully prepared for this to happen to me this weekend. My mother and father-in-law were in town, and we were going out to eat a lot because we were trying to audition restaurants for our rehearsal dinner. And, you know, you got to sample the menu, and we would get appetizers, and sometimes you get an appetizer that's really good. We got these amazing soft pretzel bites with beer cheese at one of the places, and you kind of have that weird moment where you're all looking around like, who's going to take the last soft pretzel bite? But in that situation, we're all, know each other well enough that someone can say, it's okay, you take the last one. And I fully expected I was going to have to sneak some, but everybody was very generous the whole weekend. So as I was thinking about picks after they left this morning, I was thinking about, like, where are environments where I am sneaking the last bite? And I realized it's because of COVID that I haven't had this experience in a long time. Because I haven't been to one of these, like, appetizer-y gatherings, But my book club is about to start back up, and that's where this happens. Because inevitably, somebody's a tryhard and makes something amazing for book club. Whether it's home-baked soft pretzels or some kind of incredible dip or something. Like, there's always one dish at book club that's better than all the other ones. And
very pretzel-focused.
I mean, I love a good pretzel. But sometimes, you gotta be the one. You gotta sneak over there when nobody's looking. And you gotta take the last bite. And I'm not confrontational, so usually I wait until everybody's seated, especially at something like book club, where, like, there's about to be, a formal discussion of some kind. And then I'm like, oh, my plate's empty. I'm just going to sneak over here, and I'm going to get another little piece, and that might be the last one. It might not. Who knows? I don't, I'm waiting for my moment to pounce. But what about you guys? What situations do you find yourself in this, and how do you approach it?
Love my in-laws a lot. They basically have taught me how to dine. Like, there's a difference between just going out to eat and dining,
Yes, there is.
I am just usually, growing up, we're just, like, eaters. Like, you went to the Applebee's, and you just ordered your thing, and then you ate it. But they ordered wine, and they order appetizers, and, they talk about, like, nobody really gets the same dish, that kind of thing. It's usually this production, like, desserts happen. It's very nice. I very much enjoy dining. And when you get, like, shared appetizers, inevitably there's always, like Taylor said, there's going to be that one thing that's really good that everybody kind of wants. And when I'm not paying, I ask, hey, does anybody else want some of this? My father-in-law and my mother-in-law always say that too. They're like, would anybody else like some before they finish out the rest of it? Because basically whoever asks, they're entitled to whatever fraction of that whoever else wants to split it gets. So that's always the first thing. If you're just in the fact of asking if anybody wants it, It's just assumed that you're entitled to the other half unless it's explicitly agreed upon that somebody is going to get the full one in exchange for something else. But you're in the mix now. The bargaining process can begin once the question of would anybody else be interested in this happens. The best answer is always no. That means that you get everything, which is obviously what you wanted, the whole reason for asking. But you come to the table willing to negotiate, and I appreciate that. I get around this by just paying. Because if I get it, if I'm paying, then I just eat whatever I want, and I don't really care. And I don't ask any questions because I'm paying. So it's not that I'm not being polite, but you had your shot.
But if you're at somebody's house, like if it's a everybody bring an appetizer type situation.
Oh, there's always more. I feel like so most of the time this happens, 95% of the time, we're either since COVID at least, we're either at my parents' or at my in-laws, and there's always more. So it's never a big deal. Honestly, if you say that you like it, there's going to be a new 5 scoops of it in a bowl right in front of you.
So there's redundant like dishes in the back where they're like ready to re-up.
Right. Yeah.
That's so Midwestern. I love it.
Yeah. That's what I mean. You never really have like, there have been times living here that I have decided to go the opposite direction where I'm like, I don't want to bring home any leftovers because I know this is going to be out in the heat or the air and I don't want to bring it home. And I don't know who the hell's touching this stuff. Like if I'm going to like a book club or something, like you said, I'm leaving it there. I put everything in like an aluminum dish or something that I can leave. I don't take it home, not my plan. But if we're in someone's home doing the Midwestern style thing, the hummus dip is gone, just bring some more out. The artichoke dip, yep, there you go. You want some more crackers? There, just go in the closet and dip some, like pour some out in the bowl.
See, and this is the true Midwestern sensibility, is like somewhere in the house. In my house, it was the basement. There is always the like mystery space where a small apocalypse's worth of food is stored. Like, my parents always had probably a week's worth of food in our basement, not because they were preppers or anything, but it's just like you go to Sam's Club and, well, geez, a case of crackers isn't really all that much when you consider how many crackers we eat.
Right.
So suddenly there's 7 boxes of club crackers in the basement.
Yeah.
And
just for the record, those are worth like $900 now.
Oh, yeah, inflation, insane. But even my fiance has learned, like, we run out of crackers on the charcuterie, you know where they are. Go down to the back room in the basement, get another box of crackers.
Right. Yeah, we have like a pantry drawer down in our laundry room where if we, when you get the 7-pack of canned tuna or like the 4-pack cans of Campbell's soup, that was where it got stacked up at. And that was always, and my parents have always had a second refrigerator my entire life until I moved out of my parents' house. Yeah, I've always had a second refrigerator. Like there were certain things that get kept in certain places. Like beer and wine and anything alcoholic does not get stored in the inside refrigerator. That gets stored in the garage refrigerator. And when you want that, you go there and get it. Same with soda. Soda doesn't get stored in the inside refrigerator. That's for food, besides milk. Milk and juice get stored in there, but everything else outside refrigerator.
What Midwestern opulence.
Your parents had a second refrigerator.
It's opulence, darling.
No, we didn't have 2 refrigerators.
You sure you didn't have one? I thought you had one in your garage. Really?
No, we had a freezer in our garage. You may be thinking of my house.
Okay. Well, we always had a combo, but my parents had the refrigerator for like 25 years. It came with them to Cincinnati. It left them and went to Akron, and then it left that house and went to another place. They moved it everywhere. Finally, it died, which is probably for the best. The environment probably got saved that day that refrigerator died. But yeah, no, it was always around. That was for stuff like that. You guys remember that? That was where you went, and when you guys came into my house, the food was in the upstairs one, and the drinks were in the downstairs one.
Oh, I remember.
And never shall the two meet.
I remember.
It's very kosher in my house like that.
I also, as an aside, distinctly remember I was supposed to take an AP test. It was like AP US History, and the company shipped my school the wrong test. So we all sat down to take the test, realized it was the wrong one, and they just let us go home. And I went home, and our refrigerator had died. And my dad was like frantically pulling everything out of it because it was like the last week of school. It was basically summer. And I was like, well, all my friends are out of school. We want to go see the new Star Trek movie. Bye. And just like left him there to triage our whole fridge.
I mean, what were you really gonna do?
I don't know. I don't know why I didn't help, but I was just like, gotta go see Star Trek. See ya.
I remember.
I'm sure if you asked your father, he would not remember or care.
No. I only remember because I got the day off school for no reason. But you know. But Tyler, what is your last bite situation?
There has never been a single moment in my family's lifespan where I have not had like extra food foisted upon me. Like,
Agreed.
you know, like,
This is so true. Every time we went to Tyler's house growing up, his mom would be like, "Are you guys hungry? Do you need anything?"
Tyler's house had the best pantry. Like, if you wanted somebody that had every flavor of pretzel pieces, Tyler's house had it, right? And his mom was never afraid to give us food and feed us.
And we could eat anything we wanted. There was never anything that was off limits at Tyler's house.
I super appreciated that when I was a kid. Because when you guys come over to my house and eat, my mom would, after you guys would leave, my mom would like give me a talking to. She'd be like, "Listen, we're not paying to feed your friends. They have homes with parents."
Which is why the one weekend, and I'm so glad my mom and dad don't listen to this show. The one weekend where we all lied to our parents that stayed at your house while your parents were out of town, we went grocery shopping for ourselves.
Well, I was talking to my wife about this too, because I think the question was like, how did I learn how to like budget my food and stuff? And I was like, well, we used to have to do it a lot. When you would come to my house, we would get like my mom would give us like $20 or something, and she'd be like, "This has to last you like
all weekend or whatever
you're gonna do for whoever comes over." So that's how we ended up like buying bags of chips and those big hoagie sandwiches and different things like that, because it was just like, how did we get 2 days of meals out of $20? And you just learned that you could go to Walmart and like really shop and stretch that out, because you didn't really need like a gallon of milk. You could just have like dry cereal or eggs or something that would really be cheap.
There was a thread going around on Twitter the other day that was talking about there's some culture. It was had to have been some version of European or like Canadian or something, where it's like, just if people were having food and you were over, you just didn't get invited to eat food, and you just had yeah.
I saw this. Yes, it's the difference between cultures where if there is food and you're there, you can eat it, or if you are not expressly invited to eat, you do not eat the food. Which is not how we grew up in the Midwest. In the Midwest, it was like, well, you're in our home, so eat.
Right. Well, there was always enough to go around. It didn't really matter. That kind of like was over the social strata too. Like, I remember going over to lots of people's houses, and there was always at least an additional 3 or 4 portions where somebody else could eat. It was never like, I remember my parents saying that too. Like, my mom might have been like, "Oh, well, you know, we can't feed your friends all the time." But if one of you guys came over and it was at dinner time, my mom would never be like, "No, you can't have dinner," or "We don't have enough." It was always like, "Oh, here, and you want seconds? Like, here's some more." Like, that was always how it went. I don't remember. Your guys' parents are like that too. What?
I don't know why you would get a talking to then. That seems...
No, it was because when we would come over and like you were, 5 teenage boys going ham on like 2 pizzas and a bag of pizza rolls, my mom was like, "Holy crap, guys, like that has to feed the rest of us."
Well, because we would go straight from like a football game or something where we went all through the school day and then straight to the football game for band, and we didn't eat any dinner, and then we'd show up at whoever's house and just eat everything that was in sight.
Yeah.
But Tyler, we need to get back on track. Tyler,
yes.
You're at a social function. You're getting the last bite.
Yeah.
What's your strategy? How do you do this?
I feel like you wait it out. I feel like you could have anything you want.
We are all so non-confrontational.
Wait it out.
Yes. You waited. It depends on how badly you want the thing. If it's a primo thing, I mean, you just get right back up. I also eat quick, which is also something I'm trying to get over. I have had there's lots of food related problems I've had in my life that I've had to slowly sort of like decrease, and so I am like probably at like my most fit because I don't have people constantly just forcing me food, and I'm like slowing down my eating, so I'm actually like taking time to eat. So
That's so funny. See, I just want to refute Taylor's argument there. I am really not like that.
take one extra. Take one extra when on your first plate.
I don't even do that. If I really want it that bad, I'll resort to stuff. This is where
you eat one on the plate.
This is where my political science perversion kind of crosses over. That I will like beg, borrow, steal, trick, trade, form alliances, betray them, back channel. I'll do anything.
It's just a pizza roll, bro. What?
It's when in the right company, right? If it's like my direct family, hell no. Wolves. I don't care what I have to do. My family won't play Uno with me anymore because I cheat.
Okay. Well, that's a different sort of special problem.
I don't know. I feel this. With my direct family, I'm taking everything that I can, man.
Yeah.
The most coveted item in my household at any holiday gathering or something like this where there's like a spread is the cheese ball. You guys cheese ball people? This is a very Midwestern thing.
The cheese ball.
Not cheese ball.
Well, cheese is a very Midwestern thing, as I'm coming to find out that you basically can't live in the Midwest if you don't have at least 9 forms of cheese in your house at any point in time.
But not like a charcuterie, you just have lots of cheese.
3 types of potatoes.
Right.
So cheese ball is like, how do I describe this to non-Midwestern people?
It's an orange ball of cheese covered in some sort of thing.
Oh, no, ours isn't. So it's primarily cream cheese.
Then that's not cheese. Cream cheese is not cheese. That's butter. Bite me.
Okay, so it's like cream cheese and I can't remember, I don't even know what all my dad puts in it. I think it's a secret recipe.
Salami.
So it's cream cheese, it's I think salami, truly probably half a pound of green onions diced up as small as you can get them, a ton of Worcestershire sauce, and you process that all together in a food processor, form it into a half sphere, and then you cover it in either very small sliced salami or chipped beef.
Chipped beef, that's what it is.
And then you eat it off of crackers. I will absolutely eat the last piece of cheese ball at breakfast just to get the last of it. It is my favorite thing. I do not care how many calories it is. I do not care what time of day it is. I will eat that absolutely the whole thing. Like, I will eat that until I am sick.
Will you like... No, the cheese ball that I've had is very similar to this, but not...
That's what Sean's talking about.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yes, this has like dried French onions on it. It looks kind of like everything bagel seasoning.
Yeah.
Ours is much more like...
A dip.
Yeah, and it's like salty and spicy. Yes.
Okay, that looks delicious. Don't get me wrong.
The second photo Tyler posted is much more like what my family makes.
Yeah. Would you physically move a family member to get the last piece? This is I think where I have to ask the question. Would you physically impede somebody to get the last piece or prevent them from getting it so you can get it?
Yeah, probably. I mean, I've definitely, like, the real test is nobody can eat that whole thing. I mean, listeners, it's the size of 2/3 of a softball. Like, it's big. And so you can't eat the whole thing during, like, a football game. Even with, like, 4 or 5 people, you just can't. Where it gets dicey is the next, like, at dinner time or the next day when it comes back out. I will 100% open the fridge door into somebody so that I'm pulling it out of the fridge first and getting however much I want.
Yeah, and
I guess I don't want something enough. This seems extreme.
This is the answer. Lunch the next day is always where the score is settled.
Yes.
That is the most diplomatic way to get the last bite of something without offending anybody. be the first to lunch the next day to get whatever the hell it is that was left over last night. And then someone will say, well, I wanted some of that. And the answer is, and this is the only time you can make this defense, I feel like, politely say, well, you had your shot.
Yep. It was leftovers at that point.
Like, time is the ultimate judgment after it's put back in the refrigerator.
Once it becomes leftovers, you could eat that at like 2 a.m. and it still counts.
Right. There's no judicial process for that. There's no, it's first come, first serve once it's leftovers.
Well, on that note, I think I should go first.
Yeah, he's savage.
I'm telling you, I'm opening the fridge door straight into your waist. I'm clotheslining a bitch with the fridge.
Hear that, Mrs. Taylor's mommy? You're about to get slammed.
My pick this week is Tighten Up by the Front Bottoms.
'Cause I'm gonna tighten up my circle as soon as I get some real money. So enjoy this Mr. Big Spender side of me while it lasts. Don't feel bad for me. No, don't feel bad for me. Don't feel bad for me. No, don't feel bad for me. No, don't feel bad for me. I won't feel bad for you.
So, my two favorite things about the Front Bottoms are both in this song. The first is unconventional song structures and rhyme schemes. And the second is songs about deeply unlikable characters being very mean.
Huh.
This
Not
song
the
is
trumpet.
This song is so catchy, but it has lines like, I don't care if you people like me, it won't make a difference if you don't. Or, I'm gonna start a cult of happy people who I will have to kill eventually, for they know not what they know.
Huh.
Like, this is how I feel when I'm going for the leftovers. Don't feel bad for me. I won't feel bad for you. This is me. And this song kind of feels like a slightly aggressive party. Like, it's got a little groove. It's got a little, like, weird synthesizer textures in it. But, like, at the end of the day, this song is about looking out for number one, baby. I'm going to tighten up my circle as soon as I have some real money. So don't feel bad for me, because I will not feel bad for you. I'm taking that last chicken wing. You better believe I'm finishing off that cheese ball. What's that last bite of cheesecake? That's me, baby. It's all me. It's a little bit selfish, but you know what? It's about the selfishness. It's about the kind of selfishness where you're like, you know what? I've tolerated this long enough and I'm done. I'm taking what's mine. And the trumpet solo helps. It is a good trumpet solo.
Agree to disagree.
We know you don't like horns. It's fine.
I agree with everything that you said about this song. I feel like it works. It feels like a good punch in your blood relative song to get what you need and want. And I can appreciate that. Some of my emotions about my family will come out of my song too. So I'm here for you. And I'm happy that this can be a place where we can openly share our feelings about the insecurities of food that we never faced as children, but still the insecurities that our families make us feel around food, because clearly we all were not pet enough as puppies around food, and we have become uncomfortable Midwesterners about stuff. Let me speak to the horn here. Unnecessary, but I do like the synth lines going through the first part of the song. I feel like those are really cool. I wish they would have just continued to do that instead of having horn. Is there usually horn in this band?
Yeah, so the guy who plays synths also plays trumpet, and he's usually doing one or the other.
That's a lot of juggling.
Yeah, that's 50% unnecessary, honestly. You could just dump the trumpet, but...
I mean, when you play trumpet and you're in a band, you want to play your trumpet in the band. Whether that's good or bad.
Well, when you grew up learning piano, but you also picked up trumpet on the side, you kind of want to like show it off a little bit. You're like, hey guys, how about trumpet this time? You're like, no, Jeff, not today. No, not this one. Come on, guys, just one.
can I just play like one line on this trumpet? And then he plays it, and someone's like, oh, you know what? That's not good. And the other person just sighs. They're just like, oh my God, this is going to define us now. Right. This is going to be the instrument that makes people either love or hate us. Could have been the cowbell.
Okay, Cake.
I'm pretty pro synth in my pop punk adjacent bands.
Oh, I like synth. This isn't a critique on synth at all.
No, well, I'm saying that I also happen to like the One Year's album that they don't like because it has synth in it. I'm like, whoa, what a unique feature on this album. I think it's neat. I think the trumpet's also fun, despite being absolutely extra. If that guy ever released a band, what are they gonna do?
Well, the primary songwriting team of the band is him and the lead guitarist singer. So, like, everybody else is secondary to the two of them.
Oh, all right. Well, that's...
So, yeah, there's always going to be trumpet in the front bottoms.
Say it out loud.
Well, the first two albums, it was just the two of them.
Oh.
So...
I don't know anything about this band. Goodness.
Yeah.
Huh. This is a 2016 release. Do you like this album? Is this whole album good?
This isn't even off an album. This is off a double A-side single that they did just on the side.
Okay.
But the two songs on it, this and Joni, I think are a great distillation of who they are as a band.
I mean, I definitely think it's a fun track. I think I've heard of the front bottoms before, and I think, like I said, I think, though extra, I think the auxiliary instruments really make it really fun, and I don't know, I do... Just, like, listening to the lyrics to the song without reading them, I was like... This
is a band for people who like to learn the lyrics.
Yeah. I don't know, I think
because they almost never rhyme, and they're very complicated.
Well, then it's not a band for me then. But I do think there's a good sort of, like, poetry to the song, and I feel like it does a good job of really painting a picture of a really terrible person, which apparently is you.
When I'm approaching the buffet table, yes, that's where all my darkness comes out.
He says, "I really want another pig in a blanket. I need it."
I also just love a song that casually mentions starting a cult.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. One of the
like, we're just gonna breeze right past that in the second verse as if it never happened.
Yeah. Also, just casually crack rock towards the end. Just, you know, you're not really listening. You're kind of just put it on in your car with a relative, and you're like, what is this song about? It's one of those things where, like, I feel like everyone's mommy would want them to change the song because it's like they're saying bad words or whatever, or they're singing about stuff you don't want. Like Rage Against the Machine.
I mean, just to give another example for listeners who may not be familiar with this band, they have a song called The Beers, where one of the main hooks, and that also speaks to them as a band, is that there's more than one hook in this song, is, and I will remember that summer as the summer I was taking steroids because you like a man with muscles and I like you.
It sounds like this person just needs therapy. This sounds like this person this is a cry for help. Why haven't we stopped this person?
Well, that's the thing. All of their songs, I assume they're written as a character because it's like the worst possible people.
Let's hope so. I don't know how I feel.
But, you know, sometimes you just got to be that person. You just got to take what you need. Got to get that last pig in a blanket.
I can't wait for the song just called "This Is a Cry for Help," and he's just like, "No, really, I'm having a terrible time. Why doesn't anyone believe me?"
All right, who wants to go next?
I'll go next.
What you got, Sean?
This week I chose Mannequin Man by Panic Jack. I discovered this song back in March on a Spotify list, and it just has that kind of raw punk energy that I love about stuff. It's a pretty simple song, but I think it why I found it, why I think it really worked for this song is because, and realizing how I try to get away with food, and that's why I wanted to bring up earlier the whole either at the buffet or the next day at lunch. I get away. I hide. I'm like I get what I need and then I leave wherever it's at. I've never really been comfortable eating in the kitchen. I'm
Okay.
very much a person who gets the food and then goes to another part of the house to eat.
Not a sink eater.
I can do it sometimes.
No misery tacos for you.
No. Misery taco. But it's because when I was a kid,
You don't want to be perceived.
yeah, and I have a little bit of historic trauma here because it was kind of a game in our house that everybody was afraid to open up new food. So like, let's say there was I got one example of this is Pringles, right? You know how when you get a can of Pringles, the foil, you like rip it open a little bit. Okay, well, if I ate something and I finished it, because I'm kind of a hedonist like that. Like if I buy something, I want to eat it. I don't really want to just let it sit out and parse it out for a long time unless it's like breakfast or something. And so I got in the habit of just leaving I would put the foil inside the plastic cap and just like run my finger along.
Josiah does this and it drives me insane. He doesn't
And
even
then-
reseal it. He just like always flips it back over and then puts the plastic cap on it. I'm like, what is the point of doing that? It does nothing.
Yeah. But the answer is because it gets you out of trouble.
No. Because if you have multiple cans in the pantry, then you're like, but which one's already open? You don't know.
No, it makes you mad because you don't know. I promise you that he knows exactly which cans are open.
I don't care if he opened it. No, because my thing is, I just want to keep eating out of the one that's already open. I don't want to open one that's not been open.
See? This is what I mean. Here we go. Here comes the shame. Yeah, every time. This is my whole childhood here. I'm going to get shamed because I wanted
This
to
is
have...
sociopathic.
a
Why
little
does
bit of
how
this.
does this
You're-
relate to your song?
So basically, that's how I got in the habit of this, was I would go and eat away from people, or I would put a little bit and like resurface the thing. And I remember in one can of Pringles, one time my family really figured out what I was doing was they opened up what they thought was a fresh can of Pringles, and it was like only a quarter left. And they were like, what the hell? It's been up here for like days. And nobody opened it because nobody wanted to be the first person to open it up. And I was like, well, I want to eat it. I know that you guys aren't going to do it, so that's what I'm going to do. And I just slowly, all these little habits started forming in my life where now I hide when I eat food. I have to act diplomatically. I come up with bargaining situations with people. There's all these complicated rules.
You're like a dog. You pick up your kibble, take it into the next room, put it on the carpet, and then eat it.
Right, because I can't. And that's kind of what Mannequin Man was, you know? Mannequin Man, just run as fast as you can. That's what has to happen. You get your food and you move as quickly away from out of the food. That's why I always appreciated Bagel Street in Athens, Ohio. Right? Because you place your order and you evacuate the bagel area. There's no need for you to huddle up around there. You get your food and you go.
That's true. That's true.
Just run as fast as you can. Just get what you want. I'm not advocating the cool crime of theft. What I'm advocating for is getting your food and then leaving
Get
the
out the
area
way.
where everybody else is trying to get into.
Big fan of drive-thrus.
Yeah.
I mean, I dig this song. This song is awesome. This band is awesome. I am very impressed with them in the way that, like, we are impressed with the chats.
Yeah.
Not technically
Yes.
proficient, but the songwriting is there, and when you're a punk band, that's all you need. I do think there are some things that are happening here that are interesting. The switch to halftime about 2 minutes in is a really nice touch on a song that would otherwise be a little too long. But by doing this like second bridge in halftime and then speeding back up for the chorus, it makes you want more. Like it. Otherwise, I feel like the third or fourth chorus, whatever that is, would probably be a couple times too much because it is a very like repetitive chorus. But I think there's something about this song, like it has an energy to it that is just special. You can tell that the four of them really get each other. They're really close. They're tight musically. I'm excited to check out more of their music. I think they're really fun. And also, the music video is so adorable and fun. They're like dressed in late 90s, early 2000s club kid fashion, dancing like stupid idiots in front of a green screen, and behind them is like stock footage of 90s London. Like, it's just weirdly alluring, like in a vaguely Barbie doll punk way.
No, it's fun music.
Oh, it's so fun.
I feel like no one's ever gonna say no on this podcast to just kind of a fun, dumb punk song, and I'm here for it. I think we should continue. I think this revolution is coming. It's been a long time. I feel like the sort of era of hardcore, I think, like Black Flag really had it right, where, it's a TV party,
This is a very TV party song.
Perfect. No notes. I'm always gonna love a good harmony, a good sort of like choral element. Always gonna love that, no matter what, in any song. 2 vocalists, great. 3, 4, more. The more the merrier. Except for Bang Camaro, which had that gimmick didn't really last very long. Anyway,
People love that band, man.
do they?
The fandom is strong with that band.
Well, I mean, let's talk about it later. Yeah, I wasn't exactly sure how Shaw was going to angle this, but I suppose he's going to run as fast as he can after he gets the food. Which I suppose in terms of sneaking, it's sort of like, well, you can't see me anymore because I'm not here anymore, and I did it very quickly.
Right.
Yeah.
Operate on a phantom level.
You don't sort of like hide behind the chair.
No, I leave the room.
Yeah, very quickly. But
Right.
making noise? Be like, hey, why'd Sean run away? Well, whatever. I guess that's
You wouldn't even notice.
He's just
That's
like,
it.
smoke
Get-
bomb, and he's
Get
out.
good at your game. Right.
with
You're in and out, and no one even knows that you're there. If you do it right, no one notices at all.
Yeah, but the your quiz on the fridge is gonna get blown. It's gonna when you have a little dust cloud. Anyway, I think this song's fun.
Did anybody see that shadow?
I think it's a fun song. I think it's fun. It's dumb. I think it fits the challenge perfectly.
All right, Tyler, buddy, close us out.
This week I chose "Bad Reputation" by Joan Jett. So, we've sort of all kind of chosen within the same genre spectrum. But what I was thinking about is, I was really kind of like thinking about a boop, 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 like a tippy toe kind of song. And I was like, do I really want to put a tippy toe song on the podcast or on the playlist? No, absolutely not. And so, I was thinking more about, well, what's the sort of attitude I want to have about this? Where, I suppose because my entire life I've just sort of had all the food just been given to me. So I'm at a party, I'm like, I'm gonna take exactly what I want. Just gonna take it. Who cares? You're like, oh, there's Tyler. He always, we don't see him, but we know it's him. We know at this point this is who it's gonna be. he's always Mr. Big Eater. So, you got me fair and square, but you didn't see me do it. But yeah, I think just for this song in particular, though, I just think it just has really nice energy. I feel like the campiness of it, sort of like the sort of iconicness of it really sort of adds like a playful element to it. Whereas I feel like if this was like a song about stealing anything else, it'd be a little too rambunctious, a little too... a little too much stuff happening, will be drawing too much attention to yourself. But I feel like it's you got like almost kind of like a Fonzie attitude to it. So I thought it'd be a fun pick.
So this is the theme song for Freaks and Geeks. It opens every episode. For those who aren't familiar, Freaks and Geeks is an iconic TV show from the year 2000, created and directed by Judd Apatow, who you may have heard of, and starring some of the greatest actors of our time before they were hugely famous, like James Franco, Seth Rogen, Linda Cardellini, Jason Segel, Martin Starr. I mean, just incredible comedic talent. And so I always think of it with regards to that, but I do think it works really well for this challenge because that show and this song have this same kind of attitude of like, look, man, this is just who I am. I'm just going to get in there and I'm going to take that food. This is me. And I think perhaps the best, most iconic part of this song is in the post-chorus, which, like, can't believe this song has a post-chorus, where she says, oh no, and then in, like, the most Jersey, Brooklyn, like, accent ever, she goes, not me! Like, as if it's spelled N-A-H-T. Like, it's so mean when she says it. Oh, I love that. It's like, not me! Yes, I love it.
Not me!
It's so good.
Can we get a not me, Sean?
Not me.
No, you don't have it. It's got such energy to it. And I think that's what it is. It's like when somebody asks you if you took the last bite, you're like, not me! It's very Johnny Rotten.
Yeah.
Very Sex Pistols. Love it.
I like this song because I feel like it really captures your spirit about how you just don't give a crap about taking the last bite. And in a way, I sort of envy that spirit that you are giving me here. That you're just like, you know what? That was the last Tostitos pizza roll. You all had your shot. I might have grabbed 5 extra on the beginning, and you totally knew I was going to come back and do this crap. So it's your own fault. It's a dog-eat-dog world out here. And, yeah. I mean, it's Joan Jett.
Do you really want leftovers?
Does anybody really want it? No. I made it so it could be eaten. Yeah. I'm taking it.
I don't give a damn about leftovers.
Do you like spill a drink a little bit on the floor as you say that? Like, how do you intimidate people so they don't come around your stuff?
I'm just listen. We're
You just have a reputation. You just use your reputation to intimidate people.
I'm just bypassing the pleasantries. I'm saying I'm not gonna ask about it. I'm just gonna take it. Like, what? It's just the random chaos factor. They're not gonna know. It was like, how can you know? Who's to say not everyone all equally loved the same thing as much as you did, and everyone took 1, 2, 3, or 4, 5.
So basically, what you're saying is, I'm Tyler Reed. What are you gonna do about it?
Are you checking? Are you a cop about that food? Come on. There's no way someone's sitting there at the table, sitting at their table, be like, there he goes. He's taking. You don't have that one person in your family that polices you like that. When you walk by, they're not patting you on the stomach, saying like, "Hurry, eat, you're a growing boy." Well, at a family thing, yes. They have, because I'm the youngest by 30 years.
187, we have one entry.
This is a challenging
DPI.
challenge.
Well,
this is a weird one.
Honestly, it did take more time than I thought it was going to take.
This was a late submission by everybody.
So, somebody decided they wanted to fly their first ever red-eye flight on
The day of the show.
Right. And I tried to give you a little break here, but no, you just wanted to hardcore it in. So here we are. All right. So Sneaking Food 187 at DPI 71 said this is actually a great pick. An honest mistake by the Bravery, and then I think the comment is Crime Pays, or no, this other one, Crime Pays by Bare Hands, or sounds a little sneakier, and then yes was at the end. So let me read that correctly so we can all hear it as it was meant to be read. An honest mistake by the Bravery. Crime Pays by Bare Hands. Sounds a little sneakier. Yes.
I know an honest mistake. I think that'd be fun.
Yeah.
That'd be a fun.
Yeah, I think an honest mistake would be a good one.
Yeah. I mean, people, they don't mean a thing to you. They look right through you.
Bare Hands don't know. We'll find out.
Love Bare Hands. They're fun.
All right. And with that, B-sides, you probably have some. We want to hear them. Go for it.
So, on the same note that I was on, I had Jerk by the Front Bottoms. And then I thought, well, maybe I need a song that's going to be a distraction while I sneak the last bite. And so for that, I had Promiscuous by Nelly Furtado and Timbaland. Because don't get mad, don't be mean. And then also Woo, Alright, Yeah, Uh-huh by The Rapture. That's the actual title of the song. And then per Tyler's note earlier about sneaking around songs, I had Electric Worm by Beastie Boys off of their instrumental jazz album, because of course the Beastie Boys put out an instrumental jazz album. So, it's all good sneaking around, grabbing the last bite while nobody's looking music.
Let's see. Probably there's got to be some good Run the Jewels picks in here.
Lie, Cheat, Steal.
Yeah, probably. I just feel like they're like such a good band if you have to soundtrack somebody sneaking food. I just feel like they'd be really down for encouraging that behavior in their music as well. Honest Mistake was a good one. I wouldn't have put that one together. But I really appreciate that. Oh man, there was another one. Oh, I already picked this one for the show, but I think Loading Zones by Kurt Vile would have been good here.
Oh yeah,
Just
that's
because
a
it's
similar kind of attitude.
Yeah, it kind of has that, this is my town kind of thing. So,
Soul Bossa Nova.
Yes.
If
I
you
support
wanted
this.
to feel like Austin Powers. Pink Panther theme. Yeah, I was not going to choose it. But, you have to put it on the playlist because Spotify will enhance or it'll give you suggestions. I was like, we'll see if this leads somewhere. It doesn't. Just so you know. Which also means the Mission Impossible theme is on there. Strangely, a fifth of Beethoven from Saturday Night Fever is like kind of fun because it's got a little bit of that string action that's really fun. And then I found some this weird pocket of musicians that just did seems like sample music for TV and things, or they're just you'd buy a CD of 100 little songs and it would just you could just put them in for TV or whatever. Secret Code by Lalo Schifrin, Time Critical by Dick Walter, Streetwise by Richard Myhill, Riff Raff by Joffrey Bastow. And then there's a scene in The Royal Tenenbaums that has me and Julio Down by the Schoolyard by Paul Simon that I think was a fun rapscallion type song, but I don't. You need that specific context for it to be funny. So,
Well, Sean, if people want to get your secret recipe, where can they find that?
Instagram, Tally Sean.
And Tyler, if people want to negotiate with you about what's going on the charcuterie board, where can they do that?
you can find my design and illustration work at rudepets.club. As always, find me on socials as Rude Pets Club on Instagram and Twitter.
And if you need somebody to class up your dinner party, you can find me on the socials at TC Olmstead. All of these songs will be on the official No Repeat podcast playlist. We'll be back next week with another episode of No Repeat.